2020 was a crazy year. It changed a lot for everyone. One thing that really changed is what we spend our money on. And that's why ATRI really wants to emphasize the 2020 operational cost study to show exactly how much money it took to run a trucking business during a pandemic.
Tell us about the 2020 operational costs survey and kind of tell us what you saw.
The cost per mile for 2020, and this is using calendar year 2019 data, was $1.65, and that is a decrease from what we saw in last year's report, so in 2018. Now, some of those decreases we expected. We knew the price of diesel in 2019 had gone down from what it was in 2018. The one that really surprised us, Carlin, was the insurance cost per mile. We've sort of reached a tipping point in the industry for what fleets can afford in terms of increasing premiums, and not being able to go higher, they're taking on additional risk through things like higher deductibles or self-insurance. Those are strategies that help you bring that insurance premium cost per mile down, but in the long run, you may be setting yourself up for even higher overall operational costs if you are in a catastrophic crash.
When you look at the operational costs of owning a business, doing everything, what is that one that you're always like, this is just going to be high?
It's either fuel or it's labor. To see the driver wage cost per mile go down surprised us. A lot of that compensation for driver to other types of compensation, like bonuses. We saw significant increases. And in fact, in the average amount paid in a retention bonus in this year's data collection, we saw an 81% increase in that amount over the previous year. Because fleets recognize we need to keep these drivers, so let's put in place these retention bonuses that help keep folks around.
What do you see happening in the next couple of years to kind of change things around? Obviously, as you said, with the retention bonus, that was a big thing. We want to keep our drivers, but what do you see changing to perhaps get more drivers and then, of course, help those operational costs?
I think we're going to see the driver wage and benefit cost per mile go back up because, again, continual need for good, safe drivers. And so I think we're going to see that cost go up again. With a new administration, we know that there is going to be a renewed emphasis, or at least they've said there's going to be a renewed emphasis on infrastructure funding. We know that there are states that are looking at tolls. We're seeing that play out in the data, that fleets and of all sizes are paying more in that toll cost per mile. I'm afraid we may see those costs continue to increase.
Are there people at the top, the Department of Transportation, the FMCSA, things like that? Do they specifically reach out to you to be like, hey, we saw your data, we want to know what we can do better to help maybe some of this stuff?
Absolutely. It is so gratifying to me when we see who is requesting copies of our report. So when you want any of our research, anyone can access it free of charge on our website. You just fill out an online form and it refreshes the page and you get a download of that report.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it, and I will let you go.